This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network. Welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Please accept my apologies. I had some technology issues, and please forgive us for the late start. Thank you for joining us here on Guardian Talk Radio this morning. Today is, we live in a new world, in a world that has been given something else to talk about, aside from the war in the Ukraine, aside from the pandemic that is still with us. The fact is, for those of us who are fans of entertainment, particularly film entertainment, the Oscars was a supremely interesting and very sort of strange occurrence. There's been some fallout. Obviously, the amount of discussion has been, it's worldwide discussion. And for those folks who are not aware, there was an altercation at the 94th Annual Academy Awards show, which followed host Chris Rock making a joke about Will Smith's wife, actor Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from a condition known as alopecia, which causes hair loss. And Will and Jada were sitting up front, and Chris made a joke about G.I. Jane 2 and said that he looked forward to seeing Jada in G.I. Jane 2. Of course, G.I. Jane was a movie starring Demi Moore, and she shaved her head for the movie. And so the joke was a reference to Jada's shaved head. In the initial seconds after the joke, Will was laughing. The camera cut to Jada, who had a less than pleased look on her face. Will saw the less than pleased look and then walked up to the stage, unimpeded, slapped Chris Rock, and then politely walked back to his seat. Again, unimpeded, no security, nobody was there to protect Chris Rock, and nobody was there to enforce any consequences on Will Smith. Chris did the professional thing and continued on with the show. And then later on, Will Smith was lucky enough to win the Best Actor Award for his portrayal of Richard Williams, the father of Serena and Venus Williams. And he gave a really disjointed speech, with tear-filled speech, wherein he purported to be called by God to protect women. And he apologized to the Academy, but he did not apologize to the person that he had assaulted. Not then, anyway. And the next day, he issued a fairly lengthy apology, and the question that a lot of people have is, are there going to be any consequences for a person like Will Smith? The consequences really come in terms of access, right? Are you going to be are you going to continue to be afforded the platform that you have that has made you the household name and the celebrity that you are? Well, Hollywood media outlets have reported that at least some high-profile projects linked to Will Smith are stalled or under threat after slapping Chris Rock. Movie trade publication Variety reported that the streaming giant Netflix has slowed development on its upcoming action thriller Fast and Loose, which was set to star Will Smith. Reported that a search for a new director for the film had been paused. And this is a quote from Variety. It remains uncertain whether Netflix will return to developing Fast and Loose, or if so, whether the streamer would seek a new star for the project. The Hollywood Reporter reported that Apple Plus had declined to comment on its drama Emancipation, which is about escaping from slavery, which had been expected to be released this year, again, starring Will Smith, but has not had a firm date attached to it. And the Hollywood Reporter also said that Sony was pausing its Smith-linked action film Bad Boys 4, which had been in active development before the Oscars. So that's at least 3 projects that that have been either brought into question or possibly more in the aftermath of his violent behavior. And as the fallout continues, last week, Will Smith resigned from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, saying that he, quote unquote, betrayed the trust of the Academy and that he would accept any further consequences. In a statement released on Friday, he said that his actions were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. So we in the Bahamas have a far removed view of this kind of behavior, and I actually would be very curious to hear what thoughts are on this unfortunate circumstance. The reality is, at the Oscars, the almost the entire point of having a comedian as the host is that they will take a crack at people in the audience. And your job as the person in the audience is to show that you can take a joke, because the reality is you're being paid tens of millions, in some cases hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of your career to do a job that is not as demanding as some other jobs. And you have a level of privilege in the world that is incredibly high. You live in a world that other people can't even fathom living in. And so to be able to take a joke is almost expected. as part and parcel of what you have to give the public in order for the public to continue to give you that platform. So, first question, wrong to make the joke he made. All of the foolishness about, and I use the word foolishness deliberately, about a joke in bad taste is absolute nonsense. If we're going to talk about a joke in bad taste, the fact is Regina King made a joke where she called up a number of men onto the stage and talked about tongue kissing them backstage in order to quote unquote check for COVID. Regina Hall, sorry, thank you. And then she physically manhandled two of the Oscar presenters and felt them up on stage on national television during the Oscars broadcast. So the idea that a joke in bad taste is somehow not par for the course for the Oscars is just foolishness. It's insane. And people who want to blame Chris Rock for somehow bringing upon himself the ire of Will Smith, I think missed the point, but that's my opinion. Please, of course, you can chime in here, 323-6232, 325-4316, or 325-4259. And of course, you can always send us your text messages at 422-4796. I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts on whether, number one, Chris wrong to make the joke. My view, of course, is that he wasn't. And number two, was Will Smith's response justified? And it leads me to my third question. What about Jada? Right? You know, from Encanto, people are saying, we don't talk about Bruno. They love that song. I love that song. But it seems that in this whole discussion, we're not talking about Jada. Because in the first instance, as I said, and it was very clear on the night of the broadcast, Will Smith thought the joke was okay. His first response was to laugh. His second response, after seeing the displeased look on his wife's face, was to go and physically assault. I understand that there's a caller joining us now. Thank you very much for calling. You're listening to Guardian Radio AM. What's your view?
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
Oh, I'm splendid. How are you?
Good, man. All good, all the time. See, let me tell you something. See where is B in the center of the whole entire Bahamas. That's the street, Stone Thompson every day. We just talk hard at each one, other just but we don't never hit nobody. See, the fact of the matter is that's how those calls, those academies do it all the time. All the squads joke on too and things. Even they talk about the president of the United States. You just have to have a thick skin. See, and it ain't no excuse for what Will Smith said. Now, I spoke to Dwight, I think it's last week, and I said he earned this award. Give him this award. But you know how Hollywood go and how America go. They can try and make examples. And my thing is this, right? You have to make examples. And look like it, all of the black people get this problem. You know, even the black stars, the baseball players, the basketball players, and they keep on making mistakes after making mistakes, man. We are the black people, we just need to be patient and let's try to do better and be more better role model like Sidney Poitier and Nelson Mandela. And time to take my call.
Thank you very kindly for your call, brother. See, the caller raises a point that I want to address, but I'm not sure how to do it with sensitivity. The fact is Will Smith, by doing what he did, cemented the views of a lot of people about a supposed predisposition towards violence in the Black community, in the Black American community, particularly, and that's a joke that is not funny. I know we have another caller, and we'll get to the actual apology that Will Smith issued on his Instagram page a little later in the show. But caller, do you think that it's an unfortunate circumstance that one Black star assaulted another Black star in that worldwide arena that the whole world was looking at? Caller, thank you for joining us. You're live on Guardian Radio AM.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Peter.
Oh, because you sound far away. Good morning to you. Good morning to your producer. I think it is I'm looking at it. I think it's a far cry that he would make a joke on Will Smith while knowing that he has an illness and knowing the mental stress that he's going through with the wife. I think that he could control it better than that. But at the same time, I don't think Will should have gone up there and do something so drastic like that and in bad taste. But at the same time, I can understand why he do it. I think when the theater company, or when the award, I think they need to consider whether seriously consideration, because knowing that what he's going through, I don't think the Oscar award should abandon them and moving away from the association. But I mentioned Netflix, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, yeah.
Netflix can't afford to move the movie because they're making millions of dollars off him. So no way they're gonna from playing. But at the end of the day, I understand the mental condition, and Will Smith, he got my back. I think, well, they apologize to each other, but at the same time, in life, when it comes to health and people and family members, we just got to remind ourselves and be careful of that sympathy. Sympathy still exists in this world.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, you're not wrong, but I don't disagree with you that the joke may have been in bad taste. It may have been wildly out of place for Chris Rock to make that joke. He might have been excoriated and canceled in cancel culture for a joke like that. But the response to the joke shouldn't include violence. That's my assertion.
No, I agree with you. It shouldn't include violence, but no one knows what we're gonna do. Let's say me use my brother, someone, you have cancer, and someone attack you. I don't know how you're gonna react. I guess a react of emotion.
Yeah, but you and I are not the same thing as somebody like Will Smith. Will Smith,
I know, but I didn't use it. It's still human.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not disputing his humanity. Absolutely, I agree that he's human.
And sometimes people forget these actors and billionaires are simply, when they go home, they are humans. Sometimes forget that.
Sometimes we do, but in my view, and thank you for your call.
All right.
Thank you for your call, Pumpkin. Appreciate it. In my view, the reason I brought it up is because I think that behavior is characteristic of bullying, and I think that Will, I mean, look at the size disparity between the two, and I think it's just incredibly clear that Will Smith could have handled things a different way, and even if he reacted emotionally, that was not the forum for it. And in my view, Will Smith is a bully, plain and simple. Caller, let's take the first call here, Ali. Thank you very much. And we have some text messages to read as soon as we get done with these calls. Thank you for joining us. You're on Guardian Radio AM.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, yes. I don't think the joke was in bad taste because G.I. Jane was a great movie. You know, had he insulted her on a personal level, I would have seen it differently. But and people seem to think that Will did not react on how he reacted on how she's feeling, which shows the type of power that she has over him. Because his initial reaction was exactly how he was feeling. It's a joke. It's just a joke. You understand?
I think you are 100% correct.
Yeah, okay, so until he looked over at her and she gave him one of them, "Oh, I gonna kill you when you get him" kind of look, then all of a sudden he pitched up and he reacted on her emotions, not his. That's not his emotion. That's why he giggled the way he did, because it was just a joke. Because he's a comedian himself. Yeah. You understand? And somebody like Chris Rock hosting a show, you're bound to get picked on because that's what comedians do. Especially when you sit in the front row, you place yourself to be picked on.
You ask for it, absolutely.
Not say asking for it, but anybody who watches comedy shows, you understand? You realize that is something they do.
Yeah. I agree with you, caller. Thank you.
So I don't see why she seemed to be so upset over it, because G.I. Jane was a great, and I think was Demi Moore or whoever was acting in that. She acted wonderfully. So it wasn't to say, "Oh, look at the bald head woman, let's laugh at the bald head." No, that's not what he did. He referenced her to the G.I. Jane, which was not to me not an insult.
Yeah.
You understand? I can understand. She probably take it differently. I think she probably took it the way she did after she saw the way Will laughed, which changed the whole thing. And now look the position that he has placed himself in by following her lead.
Yeah,
he's going to destroy him if he don't get a hold of himself.
Yeah, I agree with you that there's something dysfunctional about that relationship. I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your call, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll take the next call right now, and then I'll read some of these text messages. Caller, thank you for joining us. You're live on Guardian Radio AM.
Now, you are quite right about our disposition the white race have on us. We're unpredictable, aggressive. But I think that he was trying to please a wife that ain't in love with him, because he laughed. But did you know, camera behind her, when he slapped Chris Rock, she was laughing. So she went from being sad about the joke to laughing when her husband went on stage and slapped her man, and then he dropped 2 F-bombs, and she didn't try to stop him.
No.
So to me, she is the devil. And then I listened to her, what she told Gwyneth Paltrow, that in bed, he's tired. So she's trying to please a man, trying to please a woman that ain't in love with her. Now, Chris Rock really love him. So the LAPD said, let us drag him over here. And he begged the LAPD to don't touch him. LAPD said, we will arrest him right now for you. And in fact, this CM tour, he can make plenty of money off of Will Smith. Because he can say his jaw is broke for the next 10 years. And make Will Smith pay him millions and millions of dollars. Because we all saw that slap. And his hand was behind his back. From any, he can take a good slap. He ain't even move his hand and even touch his face. But Will Smith is dead wrong. And to teach our black people, aggression is not the answer. Fighting don't solve no problem. It's a joke. And Demi Moore worked hard to produce G.I. Joe 1. In fact, that's how she get action culture. She's so in shape. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, yes, Demi Moore worked hard to become G.I. She's a Navy SEAL. Jada Smith, her body is tight. You say now you could act as G.I. Jane too. It was a compliment. that Will
Yeah,
just
it was a
freaked
joke.
out
But
and became an angry, aggressive black male who should know better, but he's trying to please a woman who don't love him.
yes, caller, thank you very much. I appreciate your call. I agree with you 100%. These text, let me get to these text messages, Ollie, because they're starting to get Parker. This first one says, Parker, you still on Guardian Radio by Grab? Yes, I am still here. This one says, who has not sinned cast the first? Thank you, caller. Thank you, texter. We appreciate your self-righteousness. The next text says, good morning, sir. It was sad and egregious. Bottom line, violence is sad. The man had no call to get on stage and disrespect himself, his family, Chris Rock, and everyone watching. He could have sued if he felt that his wife was disrespected. Sad day for us all. This next text says, good show today. Chris Rock wasn't wrong to make the joke. I always wonder if Will had slapped a woman, would he be able to sit back in his seat? Would he still be able to be a free man? Say it again, texter, sorry. Getting confused now here. This one says, hi, Mr. Parker. Wait till we see the movie that Chris and Will be releasing named Drama at the Oscars, and Chris Rock will win Best Actor. This one says, morning Q, Will Smith was wrong in every sense. His wife, oh Lord, his wife is not a virgin, disrespected him on many occasions. He set a bad example and is expected to be punished. If I were Chris Rock, I would sue him and the Academy. The joke to me played a compliment to Will Smith's wife. She might have gotten a movie offer for G.I. Jane if she had responded differently. This next text is short, but it says everything I believe. I don't hear any activist groups talking about violence. So, do you think we need more male activist groups for matters like this? And my view to that, my response to that text is absolutely. 177% yes. 259,000% we need male activist groups to speak up about this kind of behavior. This next text says, Q, so let me get this straight. Jada was in an intimate relationship while her and Will are married. She's okay with that, but she's offended that someone said something about her hair. Wow, Jada is the problem too. This one says, great show as usual. They are friends. His friend forgave him. And that last text is germane, I believe, to sort of what we're talking about as well, right? Yeah, it's all well and good for Chris Rock to forgive Will Smith, and I would expect no different because Chris seems to be well, let's put it this way, Ollie. If you have that clip, this is from Chris Rock's first show after the Oscars. Ollie, you can play the clip now.
How was your weekend? I don't have like a bunch about what happened. So if you came to hear that, I had like a whole show I wrote before this weekend. And I'm still kind of processing what happened. So at some point I'm talking about that shit. And it'll be serious, it'll be funny.
Yeah. So at some point, Chris will talk about it. And as he says, it'll be serious and it'll be funny. But it's still I'm only talking about it today because what I saw was an example bullying in a most unfortunate way. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it today. I wanted to talk about it from the perspective of Will Smith being a bully, regardless of his motivation. And so I wanted to use that as an opportunity to talk about bullying and prevention of bullying, right? Less than half of the bullied kids actually reported. There was a study done by the National Center for Educational Statistics in 2020 that said more than 20% of American students report being bullied. Report, of course, being the operative word there, right? Only 36% of being victims actually report it. So the number of kids who are being bullied in American schools is significantly higher. We don't really have statistics for that here yet, but in a little bit, I'll talk about a study that was done by William Fielding from the University of the Bahamas that talks about bullying in the workplace in the Bahamas. And I think that those numbers might give us some ideas about the prevalence here, right? But more than half of bullies stop when another peer intervenes. Again, these statistics are from that study. It says that kids often feel powerless to stop bullying, but studies show that 57% of bullies will stop when another classmate or friend intervenes. And so for us, what we have to teach ourselves, our kids to do, is that when they see someone being aggressive or cruel towards somebody else, let them know that they do have the power to stop it. They can step in and say, don't do that. School-based bullying prevention programs can help curb bullying by up to 25%. And this is important for our schools here in the Bahamas, where we are a community. We believe in spare the rod, spoil the child. And a lot of the studies that have been done on bullying link violence in the homes to violence outside the homes, whether that's in school or whatever else the case may be. Now, I make no judgment on spanking or beating, whatever the case may be. Obviously, abusing your child is a problem, and the question is what determines it. But school-based bullying prevention programs, I think, are incredibly important here in the Bahamas. Bullying causes a myriad of emotional problems in children that can affect them for the rest of their lives. Kids who are taunted, teased, and emotionally abused by their peers can see a sharp decrease in their academic performance. Obviously, it's enough to wreck kids' self-esteem and can lead to depression in some children. Victims of bullying can suffer from anxiety, substance abuse disorders, sleep disturbance, all of which can have a long-lasting effect. Bullying also takes a physical toll on children. They can suffer from physical symptoms like headaches and stomach aches, which are among the most common. And in the data age, we like to think that, for instance, we like to believe that cyberbullying is where it's at, but bullying is still the most prevalent form. If you think that most bullying happens online now, think again. And the CDC says that in-person bullying is still more prevalent in schools, by about 5% points higher than with cyberbullying. And just another look at some of those statistics. Middle school statistics show a much wider gap, with 45% of the students facing bullying in person versus 24% online. And a whopping 90% of the kids who report being bullied online are also being bullied offline. So efforts to prevent cyberbullying are good and critical and necessary, but we also need to focus on bullying, in-person bullying in the schools themselves. Going back to the text messages. What did Chris Rock say? Quote, "Love you, Jada, G.I. Jane 2 next year," unquote. What about that joke is offensive? What about that joke is offensive to a medical condition? Will and Jada and their 2 children are dysfunctional and they need help. This next text message says, "Quincy, Jada is a narcissist, a control freak, and she's got total control over Will. She is ultimately responsible for what happened. Will's best move is to get rid of her." This one says, "Great show as usual. How much will home..." Oh, I'm sorry, I can't quite, thank you for saying it's a great show, but I can't quite make out what you mean in the text, sorry. This one says, "We don't believe in forgiveness. That's our problem." Q, this is another text. Q, on another note, I have a problem with the devil excuse Denzel said. The devil did not assault Chris Rock. Will Smith assaulted Chris Rock. Let's stop making excuses for bad behavior. Amen. Morning, Quincy. Will Smith's behavior is out of character. His wife starred as a villain in Gotham City on Netflix, and also is not a good woman in life, or not a good wife in life. So a comedian is okay with his jokes as long as it's not offensive. And that texter is from Grand Bahama. Yeah, texter, I feel like we have a, you and I are not too far apart on that. With the last few minutes, I wanted to talk about Tiger Woods, being at the Masters. I'm excited about that. All of us golf fans are excited about Tiger making a comeback. I wanted to play his speech upon being inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. So maybe I'll do that on the next show. But to finish off dealing with these bullying statistics, which I think are incredibly important, this one is particularly important to me. It says children with disabilities are more likely to be bullied. Children with disabilities are up to 3 times more likely to be tormented and teased than children without disabilities. Up to 60% of kids on the autism spectrum face bullying. These children are also less likely to report it, as they are warned not to tattle twice as often as other kids. Bias against race, religion, or nationality is still one of the top reasons kids bully. It's sad that in this day and age, so many kids are still being bullied because either of the color of their skin, their religion, or their nationality. But it remains among the top reasons that kids choose to torment other kids. According to a 2012 study, more than 33% of kids report bias-based bullying. If that study would be performed today, it would be higher in the US. And if we were to replicate that study in the Bahamas, I would almost be willing to stake my reputation to say that it would be a lot higher than 33%. Unfortunately, it's also one of the hardest types of bullying to fight because many kids learn that behavior at home from their role models. Children tend to take on the ethics and political views of their parents, at least until they're old enough to start thinking for themselves. This next one, LGBTQ kids are among the hardest hit by bullying. LGBTQ is an acronym that seems to tick off a lot of Bahamians. It's a subject that is always fraught when we try to have a discussion here in the Bahamas, because somehow we believe about LGBTQ issues is evil and wrong. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. That's what the LGBT and Q stand for. And those children are among the hardest hit by bullying. A whopping 74% of them suffer from name calling, and 36%, more than 36%, were physically harmed because of their sexual orientation or gender identification. However, one study showed that when schools include LGBTQ students in their anti-bullying policy, that number does go down a bit. So if just 1% of the children in our schools were being bullied, it would be too much. But as you can see from the statistics that I talked about, the numbers are so much higher than that. Think about it like this, right? If 30% of our children came down with a horrible virus, if 1 in 3 children were failing every test, we would re-examine our curriculum. Both of those things we've done. If 1 in 3 of our kids are being teased and tormented, physically and emotionally abused in a place where they should feel safe, we need to do more. So the question I want to leave you with today is, what are you doing to teach your kids about preventing bullying? To get back to that study by William J. Fielding, he's in the Office of Institutional Strengthening and Accreditation at the University of the Bahamas. He did a study which really is sort of the first known study on workplace bullying in the country. Over 2,000 people participated in an internet-based study in the spring of 2020. And the data suggests that 10% of the workforce suffer from severe workplace bullying. Both males and females. For both males and females, exposure to negative behaviors at home and school were associated with elevated rates of workplace bullying. In 2012, it was found that 26% of boys and 17% of girls have been physically bullied. And that was in a report called The Crime of Bullying, issued in 2014. Bullying at school is not dissimilar to the workplace, when either peers or those in authority use their position or some other perceived advantage to exert some sort of power over another. So, once again, what are you doing to teach your children not to bully and to prevent bullying? Thank you for joining us on Guardian Radio AM today. It was a lot of fun talking to you about this stuff, and I hope that you take the time to talk to your kids about bullying. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Juan McCartney's up.